lessons. Everything that you hear is something you have already heard. So, they should be pretty simple. Yes, these are all things you've heard. It's going to start with what was the beginning of the year and move all the way through till now.
Wait,
so,
are we doing like the revolution? So we're starting everything over?
No, this is ELA. I only teach ELA.
Everything over again.
Alright, so first lesson, it's not over again, it's review. It's not over again, it's review. First lesson is RI 4.1. Remember, I know we just came back from spring break, but when you have a question, you raise your hand, you wait to be called. Alright, so RI 4.1, let's see. Cash, can you read this for me?
Standard RI 4.1. Asking and answering questions from text.
Excellent. Asking and answering questions from text. And what does that mean? Maya, can you read this for me?
I can ask and answer questions about a text using details to show I understand it.
Using details. Can someone give me an example of some details that you could use to show that you understand where you got the answer? Natalie? You can say exactly where you got it from, just like when we were doing our questions and we put, I got it from page 37. That is super helpful. What else can you put, Remy?
You get underline and likes.
Yes, you can annotate it. Hi to mommy. What else, Melon?
The glossary.
The glossary.
It tells you what the words mean.
Yeah, see, that is right, but
No.
hi, Ashley. That is right, but also we're looking more for how do you know the answers that you're saying you know. Yes, Avery.
By underlining it and then copying it down for whatever you need. For wherever or whatever you need it to do.
Yeah, that's an excellent answer. So we start with our annotations. Our annotations bring confidence because when you have something highlighted, you know that the answer is what it is. You see that it's there. It's kind of like giving you a physical, tangible visual. So that anytime you're like, wait, what was that answer? Where did I get it from? You can look back at the text and see what?
Your answer.
Your answer, your annotation. Good job. All right, and then you can write it down. You can rewrite it so that you know the answer as well. All right, so why does this matter? Why does it matter that you're able to say where you got your information, that you're able to read a piece of text and tell me what you learned? Strong readers prove their answers using text. Prove their answers. Do you remember before we left how I talked about you can say things all you want, but if you can't back it up, it's not strong? You can tell me facts, but if you can't tell me where you got it from, it's not a strong, confident fact. This is the same concept. This is just that base level foundation of that. The same exact concept. So strong readers prove their answers using text. Prove their answers. Because we're getting away from the because I said so. We're getting away from the because I just already know it. And we're moving towards because the author said so. Because this quote on page 3 said so. Things that are concrete. Because while you guys are so intelligent, sometimes the author is the best source. Sometimes actual text, say this is where I got it, is the best source. So now, I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes. I would like you to turn to your partner and discuss how you can prove your answers. Think about when I give you guys writing assignments and I ask you to do some specific things. Remy, go ahead and talk with her. Mitchell, how can you prove your text? Yes. All right, one more minute. I hear some strong conversation from Remy and Erlangina. I hear Jefferson and George talking about how they can strongly show evidence. I can hear Bella yawning. All right, and 3 eyes are on me. 2 voices are off, and 1. Someone from a partnership, tell me what you got. Let's see, Anari. How can you prove your answers? How can you prove an answer when you give me an answer?
Underlining the text.
Underlining in the text? Alright, Jaden, tell me another way.
So, underline the text, but if you don't understand the word you're trying to find, you can maybe like check the other word.
Context clues, that's a great one. That's a whole nother standard, but that's amazing. Nolan?
Highlight it.
Highlight it. It's very similar to underlining. I'm looking for my last point to be a Q word. It's got, Kylie?
You can write it again with the quote mark.
There you go, quotation marks. Quotation marks, because the author's words are the strongest words. I love that we're learning how to summarize, to paraphrase. Those are important skills. But sometimes the best evidence is saying, hey, because the text said so. Like, I know this specifically because look at these words. Because the words of an author, you can't really argue. You can't argue and say, well, where'd you get that? It's right there. You can see where you got your information. All right, so the main idea of this whole entire lesson, remember we're doing mini lessons, so they're a little shorter than we're used to. But the main idea is don't guess it, prove it. So if you're sitting there at the EOG, you have question number 37, you're looking at it, and you're like, okay, I don't really know my answer. Instead of guessing, instead of just being like, well, look through the text, find evidence, highlight, cross things out, because evidence builds confidence. That is the main point I want you guys to take from this. Evidence builds confidence. So are we just using our brains anymore? Are we just going, well, I think I know this?
No.
I remember learning something about bumblebees in 2006. No! Everything they're going to ask you, you are able to find in the text. Don't use your brain to answer, use your brain to answer questions. Don't use your brain's memory to answer questions. Use the text. Find where in the text you found your exact thing that you're trying to answer. If you're using context clues, circle those context clues. If you're using a quote, highlight that quote. Because evidence builds confidence, and it feels good when you know the answer is the answer. All right, there's always going to be somewhere in the text that leads you directly to the answer. They would never give you a text about honeybees and then a question that says, when was the Industrial Revolution?
What?
Because would you be able to find that in the text?
No.
No, so there's always going to be evidence to support your answers. There's always going to be somewhere in the text that gives you that information. So if you are reading a piece of text and you're sitting there trying to answer the question and you say, this isn't in here, is that true?
No.
No, it is probably in there. It is probably in there. Go deeper. Read harder. Don't read harder. Please don't stress yourself out. There's going to be evidence. And so today's take is evidence builds confidence. Can you guys say that?
Evidence builds confidence.
Everything you find, everything you do is going to have evidence. There's going to be something that says you are right. And we all need that little pat on the back, especially when it comes to the EOG. It's going to feel good every time you find a moment that says, yep, you're right, you're good. Because imagine you're just drudging through and you're like, well, this might be right. I guess I'm probably going to fail this. Oh my gosh, I don't even know what I'm doing. That doesn't feel good. You're going to lose your confidence. And when you lose your confidence, do you do well?
No.
No. You know what feels well? When you're like, I know the answer. And I know where it came from. And I can for sure confidently tell you where I got it. So evidence builds confidence.